So
And both of them are going.
Good morning, everyone. Yes, it's still morning, though at a really odd time on a really odd day. The reason for that is complex. It's all my fault, as I'm sure Brianna already guessed. In fact, as soon as I announced it on Twitter, she was all over that. And I mean Liba Aroha, of course. Right. So, that's her.
I kind of figured it when you messaged me about being on the podcast, even before you announced it.
And I'm afraid your real name is probably going to show up where people can see it.
That doesn't matter.
Okay.
It's not my real name.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Is that yet another alias?
Yes.
He's talking about the name starting with B.
Yeah, that's not my real name.
Okay.
God, all right. Whatever. I'd say my real name isn't what it is, but yeah, it actually is my real name.
We all know it is.
Yeah. I sometimes wonder if for professional reasons that would be a bit inappropriate, but way too late now. Anyway, we won't drag this out because Liba Roja has limited time today. Though if you have to drop out towards the end, that's fine. Chill and I will keep going, though I doubt we'll go much longer. Now, Chill, something I didn't mention is that I think we're going to do a Sarlacc Digest, but I'll record that later. What I'm going to do, and this will sound weird, well maybe, is a dramatic reading of the short story. Because I know a lot of people, they see the short stories published, but you always mean to go there and read it, but it takes a while. And if it's just in the podcast, you just listen to it, and it's done.
Nice.
Yes, and I'll do it in a New Zealand accent in honour of our guest.
Okay.
Right. I can't actually do a New Zealand accent, it's just too hard. Right. Are we ready to go? Are you recording?
I'm ready. I'm good to go.
All right, are you recording, Miss Aroha? Ms. Aroha?
Yes.
Yes, we are good to go.
All right. I'm ready too, so going in 5. Oh, wait, what?
Let me just tweet out, sorry.
Okay.
I suspect we won't have an audience today, but that's okay.
Oh, there's some people in...
All right, we have an audience. Hello.
On Twitch, yeah.
Ducky and Deck. Elise, thank you guys for showing up. Tweeting now.
Ready to go?
Done! All right, let's rock.
Going in 5. Hi, and welcome to the OotiniCast, the podcast that has to go to Scarif to get the plans. This is episode 315, being recorded on Monday, August 21st, 2017. I'm your host, Chill, with our producer and co-host, Tio. Hi, Tio.
Hey, guys.
And our guest today is Liba Roja, coming back. How you doing, Liba Roja?
Pretty good, pretty good.
How are things down in New Zealand? Are you having a hard time hearing me?
Very quiet, it sounds like.
Excuse my internet, you just went very funny.
Oh, okay. I was asking
maybe turn
how
off
things...
the video of us as well. Yeah, our
Tell me
guest
when
is
you're
having
ready.
internet issues.
Try it now?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay.
All right, go.
So how are
It's
things
coming in
going?
and out.
Okay. How are things going in New Zealand?
So, hiding out. Hardly any Kiwis have seen me lately, at all.
So what have you been doing online instead?
Playing through my trooper with Chill. I may have been spotted on the pub side. Maybe.
Rarity.
Oh, very much so. It's been a dark side trooper, so I've been feeling a tad more at home, but given that I am on the Republic, yeah, not enjoying being a pub at all.
How are you enjoying the trooper?
Interesting. We've managed to finish the trooper story, gone through pretty much all of Rise of the Hutt Cartel, and pretty much at the end of Shadow of Revan.
Mm-hmm.
And learning things that I hadn't seen before. Never managed to get up to do those X-Packs, even though I've been to them when they came out. So finding out very interesting things, like where Trevorrow's courtyard actually fits into the story.
Yes. That's right. We come across that, right at the end of McKeb. Yeah, it was fun. I've been enjoying that too. It's the first time in a long time that I have, in fact, sort of skipped, have not skipped content and gone straight on to Kot v Kotet. We're doing everything. We're planning on doing Zyos next. So yeah, so that's been really interesting to actually see all the story all at once. Because even though there have been characters that I have done like every bit of content on, I've never done it in a row. There's always been long stretches of time and characters in between and stuff like that. And of course we've been doing it with Penn, who is in chat, so hi Penn. And he's been doing a pretty good job hanging with us, even though he is limited to level 60 because he's not subscription right now. And so he's but he kept up with us really well until like just at the end here in Yavin, and then he switched to another trooper.
Yeah. I've also been playing a friend and I, a Kiwi friend of all things, and I decided to start some turns on Tomb of Freedom Nerd, so been having a bit of fun there. Been getting confused which trooper I've been doing light side and which I've been doing dark side, which makes for interesting to get.
Right, I remember there was one time when I was expecting you to do the dark side one, and then we didn't get to see it because you chose light side. And you told us it was because you'd forgotten which trooper you were on.
Yeah. To, especially in one day, is really, really difficult. So, yeah. And I was in JT's stream this morning and managed to win some sub time too. So.
Hey, nice. Excellent.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else?
Apart from that, I've been trying to get my degree finished finally. Hopefully, fingers crossed, everything goes well at the end of the semester.
Cool.
Excellent.
I should be done.
Then it's back into the workforce.
Sorry?
Then it's into the workforce.
Yes. Eek.
Yeah.
What is this thing you speak of?
Yeah, yeah.
That's great. You'll love it.
All right. Tio, how about your week?
I'm not so sure.
All right. Well, no, I haven't played. Life has got very complicated in the last couple of weeks, but I do hope to, with a Crisis on Umbara coming with a game update 5.4, which would have been tomorrow, now going to be the day after, but either way, I need to finish the last content, War for Ikath, which I still haven't got through, and then I'll do at least the story of the Flashpoint Crisis on Umbara. Umbara. How do you pronounce it? Umbara.
I think it's Umbara. Mm-hmm.
Umbara. So at least I'll do that, and yeah, nothing else to report beyond got ourselves a Google Home, and it just completely unrelated for techies out there. It's essentially just a portable, well, it's basically a Wi-Fi speaker connected to the internet. If you've used Siri or the Google Assistant, okay Google, hey Google, then it's just like that, but it's sitting in your living room, has the most amazing voice pickup. I think I just woke it up. I could hear it from answering me from the other room. Anyway, it's always listening. Yeah, no, you can just get it to command your Chromecast, so it can start playing on your TV, just answer general questions, just like you would with your phone. But you don't have to get your phone out. You just say the words and ask a question, or just play music. That's what it's really good for. Just play me some whatever, and it will just start playing. It's fantastic. Anyway, Google Home, if you're curious. It really is kind of a waste of money, but
how to do that.
It's a great tool. Yes, indeed. Just a matter of time. Anyway,
Okay.
that's my week. Over to you, Chill.
Cool. And first, a shout out to the chat room. And Ducky is here as Anu. Dekion is here. Evan04111. Pen Dracos are who's Liba and I sort of third partner in the stream. Is here. Severities is here. Siskaika, Zarna, Bullwinkle, and Zulij. Hello, everyone. All right. Right. So, yeah, well, I've already talked about the leveling, which is a lot of fun. And then, so we're doing Zyos next. I think Penn might be able to do that with us, but I'm not sure because it is part of Shadow of Revan. He has Rishi and Yavin 4 unlocked, so I'm thinking he probably has Zyos unlocked as well, but he's also max level 60. I think, again, that's okay, but it might be a little hard, so it'll be interesting to see if we can bring him along to Zyos or not. But I am looking forward to that, because I really have only done that twice, I think. Once for sure, and I think I did run through it a second time, but it has been a long time since I've done Zyos, because, just where it was in the content, when I was doing leveling, I would max out before hitting the end of Yavin, and then, usually I was on to leveling something else, and I would never get around to Zyos, and then Kaffi Kotet came along, and then Zyos was sort of moot, essentially, unless you're going for that whole completionist thing. So I'm looking forward to actually seeing that again, because I do remember there's some kind of cool stuff there.
Is Zyos one of the places that is locked out once you do start Knights of the Fallen Empire?
Yeah, you can't go back
Given
to
its
it.
story. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because it
So
happens
if you haven't finished
during...
it, it's done.
Yep. Yeah. In fact, depending on what conversation options you choose in Kaffi and Kotet, they do reference Ziost and the destruction on that planet several times.
Yeah.
And yeah, the most funny thing I thought during this time was doing the run up to Shadow of Revan, which are the 4 flashpoints. It's Manon and Rakata Prime, and the destruction of the 2 starter planets. And when it's combat support droids are already overpowered, but each one of you gets one if you go in a group. We had 3 combat support droids going through those flashpoints, and it was amazing.
Ludicrous.
It was ridiculous. Yes, it was ludicrous speed. We were actually beating certain bosses without having them do their main boss mechanic, and
Wow.
crazy. It was crazy overpowered.
One
So
Jesus
funny.
droid is good, many
Yes.
is just ridiculous.
It was crazy. Yeah, on my
Till says near the end of his stream, okay, this will be the last thing we do, and that's that.
yeah.
2/3 the way through.
And then it's
Anyway,
this is good.
Must have been 2/3 the way through Combat Incursion.
Yeah, exactly. Because it was going so fast that
we're
it's
going to be doing Assault on Tython tonight too.
yeah, I'll be doing another flash one because it was not taking any time at all. It's just you just burn through them. It's crazy. Yeah, so on my tweet I called it forming a brute squad, like from Princess Bride. It was just we just wrecked them. So, all right, that will bring us on to the tip of the week, and we've got 4 of them this time. I'm going to start us off with one from Arath. And Aerith writes, "Hi, Utini Castanets." I like that reference
That's
there.
awesome. Yeah.
Yep. If you've always wanted your own HK51 droid companion but have terrible luck with Group Finder, then fear no more. You can actually enter the instances in solo mode and still get the parts you need. You'll still need to have a level 15 plus or a really nice friend on each side, but you can do False Emperor and Foundry/Maelstrom Prison in solo mode. I highly recommend it. It's a great quest chain, and who doesn't want another HK droid for the collection? Have a great semi-bye week.
Awesome. Yeah, it was a great conversion when they took all of these story-ish flashpoints and converted them, or added a solo mode, so you can get through, see all the story without any friends. I guess that makes sense. MMO and all, but yeah, it is really good to be able to just go through it yourself if you want to. Our second tip is from Optimus Strife of our own Utini Rage. When using macro binoculars, you can right-click after you interact with an object to move the binoculars around to another object without exiting completely. This makes using them during missions like the Zyos Daily a whole lot more convenient. Yes, that interface is a tiny bit clunky. If you right-click, you zoom back out again, don't you?
Yes,
And then
it
you
goes to
can
your
move around.
main. Yeah, it goes to your main view, and then you can start swooping around again.
Zoom, yeah.
The one that I found it most useful on, and I guess this is going away, is the Nightlife of Daily, because like all the things you need to check to find who the cheater is are all you can, if you stand in the middle, you can do all of them, but you have to right click to zoom out as opposed to escape and re-clicking.
Right. Very good.
Yeah, and that's right. And Nightlife is going away tomorrow, right?
Yes, that's correct.
So yeah, so I'm gonna have to go to a couple of my recently leveled characters because if you get those boss drops, you get a bunch of tokens, and I haven't been back on them to use them, so I might have to try that out tonight. All right, third tip from Rob Medulla on Reddit, and Medulla writes,
At some point, we're going to have to get your son to go in and delete some of your tunes, I reckon.
Yeah, probably. I won't be able to do it myself, that's for sure. Hey guys, another tip that I'm pretty sure you've already covered, but the tip this week is about watching your Command XP boost, and I figure I'd send this in on the off chance it hasn't been covered. Command XP boost timers actually pause during cutscenes. This is actually true of all buffs. So if you are trying to maximize your time with them and are waiting around for something, start a conversation with an NPC and just stay until you're ready to go. For example, if you're queuing for PvP, waiting for a raid to form, waiting for a flashpoint to pop, or so on, it's a good way to be online and see guild chat or general chat without worrying about those precious minutes left. I had completely forgotten about this. It used to be for the stim and XP boost trick until a guildmate reminded me. Makes the wait for PvP much less of a big deal if you just hang out at a flashpoint entrance in a cutscene. The queue window will show the pop-up on top of the cutscene, so you'll still be able to go directly in. And sorry if it's been covered before, but I'm fairly new to the podcast. Thanks, Rob. Well, it's been covered, but in the way that you kind of mentioned before, it was mentioned in regards to the earlier stims and XP boosts. So it's good to remind everyone that it also counts for the new CXP boost.
All right. Our last tip is from Tiadra, an old friend of the show. Hello, this is Tiadra from the Harbinger, bringing you 2 more decorating tips for the tip of the week. These tips have to do with decorations, or decos, that people might not realize are obtainable while doing chapters. The first decoration is from the Shroud of Memory bonus chapter, so unfortunately, if you did not meet the qualifications to get the bonus chapter, it is unobtainable. Without spoiling anything, hopefully, there is a part of this chapter where you are given the option of killing or not killing a janitor. If you choose not to kill him, you are given a decoration at the end of the chapter. Since this chapter is repeatable, if you did make the wrong choice originally, you can always go back and replay the chapter in order to get the decoration. There you go. Okay. The other decoration is obtainable in Chapter 6, The Dragon's Maw. There is a table in the Grand Foyer area of your map. It is near the main entrance to the palace. The decoration can only be picked up after you hear, and it will appear as yellow text in your chat screen. It announced that hollows are available in the foyer. When you pick it up, it only shows as a clickable mission item, and you won't get anything in your inventory, but after you complete the chapter, you will get it as a mission reward item.
Yes, I remember this. This is chapter 6 of Kotet specifically, and it's that party chapter where you're kind of going all around the party and you're dressing up as knights of Zakul and all that stuff. And the decoration is like a little hollow statue of Valen, as I recall.
Cool.
Yeah, so that is pretty cool. Right, and can you do the roll for us, Theo?
Oh, right. Sorry. Random thought. Yeah, I forgot something. No, I didn't know I'd forgotten something because I'd forgot.
You knew you'd forgotten something, but you didn't know what you'd forgotten. How's that?
Exactly. It was an unknown. It was 3, Chill.
All right, so the winner by random allotment is Medulla. Congratulations, Medulla. You're the winner of a Tonfon or M83R droid pet code, courtesy of BioWare, and a new OotiniCast provided cartel market pack from the latest shipment. If you'd like a chance to win the same, please send your tips to OotiniCast@gmail.com by next Wednesday, and that will bring us to the Hollow feed. Tio?
All right. Let me just get back to it. I didn't realize until just saying that half of Tiadra's tip was actually something for the force feedback section.
Uh-huh.
Right. Right. Firstly, let's just talk about queues, particularly on the East Coast servers, such as Jedi Covenant. Apparently they were having more queues earlier in the week or over the weekend. They're still looking at the root issue, but apparently it's related to a stuck process, which caused everything to back up. And the queuing that people experience is an automatic failsafe mechanism to prevent further logins and thus allow the database to catch up. Now that's interesting, depending on what process gets stuck. Now, when you think about it, the SWTOR servers are just computers running programs. Each program runs as a process, and those processes are working together to actually provide the game on the server side. That's sort of looking behind the curtain, so to speak, but that is how it works. And if any of those, you expect that stuff to be incredibly robust, and generally it is. But when something gets stuck that's kind of essential in the chain of things, everything backs up behind it.
Sure.
And the failsafe which they have in place to make sure that things don't go out of whack is very good. Now, I assume that whatever got stuck has something to do with updating the database. And once your database updates stop, for whatever reason, you can continue playing, but if nothing's get written to the database, nothing else is going to be persistent. And as soon as things go down, it's all over in terms of rollback. So it's a bit unclear whether there was a rollback. In this particular case, if you were online at the time the queue started happening. Anyway, they do have a solution, but it's going to take a couple more updates to ensure they've nailed it. There will be a fix coming in Game Update 5.4 on Wednesday. Yeah, so anyway, they know what's going on. It'll take them a while to fix it, but there is a reason, and what you're experiencing when you get queues is actually preventing you from losing data due to a problem on their side. Anyway, that will be fixed sooner or later. Now, let's not bury the lead too heavily, because we're talking about the new game update 5.4, which brings us Crisis on Umbara, the new Flashpoint. But before we get there, there was a trailer introduced that basically shows the lead up to the opening of the Flashpoint. And also a story. It's called Trading Scars, and in our Sarlacc Digest this week, we will have a dramatic reading of said short story. Anyway, it just basically sets a scene, and where it ends is pretty much where the Flashpoint starts. Cool. Effectively, there's no spoilers in this. It's really just a bit of background for the actual world and Flashpoint. So, there's no harm in reading it. You're not going to miss out on any surprises or anything like that. Anyway, did you guys read it? Read the story?
I had not had a chance to, but
Yeah, okay.
I've just started to
No.
now.
Yeah.
I'm a
It's all
quick
right.
reader.
Then let us move on to, and then we've got the update itself. Now, as with all of the game updates, there's a blurb for it on SWTOR.com/Eternal Throne updates. They basically keep updating it, so whatever the latest game update is will actually give you a bit of an intro to it. But before we get there, I just wanted to mention that by the time you hear this, it will probably be out. It will be out, but it was actually delayed by a day. They did intend to put it out on Tuesday morning with the regular maintenance, but due to a bug they actually found, a critical bug they found with the Crisis on Umbara Flashpoint, which would more or less, what did they say? It can prevent a substantial amount of gameplay when a player experiences the bug, and which could lead to effects such as not playing the intro cinematic to not allowing re-entry into the instance. So anyway, that's why they're delaying it 24 hours at the time we're recording. It should be out by the time you get this. It should have come out Wednesday morning. Anyway, here's the blurb for Crisis on Umbara itself. Prepare to lead the ultimate covert assault. Battle your way across a moving train. Brave the wilds of a dark new world, and more in a high-stakes new Flashpoint. When a deadly traitor is tracked to the shadow world of Umbara, you'll need to lead a strike team to confront the betrayer before the galaxy is thrown into war. With multiple challenge modes available, you can choose to experience a new storyline with your companions, or fight alongside up to 3 friends to earn legendary rewards, etc.
Very nice.
Yes, and once you've uncovered the traitor, you can expand your command with a new stronghold. And we've talked about this before, but its official name is the Umbara Mobile Base. And it's described as, for the first time, personalize your very own moving train. And we've talked about that before when Keith talked about it already. And enjoy the sights as the Shadow World's eerie landscape passes by. So that's how they're going to do it. You'll basically look out the window and see passing landscape. I wonder how long before it repeats. It'll be on some kind of loop. Be cool if it was actually really, really long and you could just stare out the window and just keep seeing new stuff. Or even if it was procedurally generated, so it was just completely random and bits and pieces.
I doubt that one, but yeah, that would be cool.
It would.
They'd have to have drawn everything out at some point, so it's got to repeat it somehow.
Mm-hmm.
Alright. Now, they did give out some more details about the Flashpoint. The modes are not that surprising, as in this story mode. You must have a level 70 character, which has completed the War for Iacath storyline to be able to get the solo story mode version. You can grab the mission from the Flashpoint from your ship's terminal, and it's the only version that is a continuation of the story for the War for Iacath. So it basically picks up straight where that ends. But then in addition, there is a repeatable story mode. You've got to have a level 70 character, but you do not have to have completed War for Iacath. And you can access that through the group finder. And then there's veteran mode, the old hard mode. Any character between levels 15 and 70 may queue. Characters from 15 to 69 will be bolstered. So, same old.
Interesting. Okay.
That's veteran mode, the old hard mode. And then there's master mode, nightmare mode, as it was used to be known, for only level 70 characters. And if you queue through the group finder, basically solo, you must have an average item rating of 242, and it's now on your character sheet. That was one of the things they added in this game update, where you can actually see your average item rating. So you will be gated using the group finder. However, if you have a complete pre-made group, all 4 of you in the group, and you queue using group finder, they'll let you in regardless of item rating. As they described before, that's how it works.
Okay.
And then they say, this Flashpoint is intended for a balanced 4-player group of 1 tank, 1 healer, and 2 damage dealers. That's in the Master Mode section, though that does presumably apply to Veteran Mode as well.
Okay.
Be kind of weird if it didn't, because I didn't think the Veteran Mode was a tactical. They give a bit more details on just how that new currency is going to work. Specifically, it's called the Alliance Recon Data. That is a new currency you get for doing the Flashpoint. Now, if you remember, Keith told us that, or Keith or Eric told us, that the number of times you'd have to run it on average to be able to get the key, to be able to allow you to purchase the new stronghold, was roughly 10 times on story, 6 times on veteran, or 3 times on master, to get you enough Alliance Recon data to be able to purchase the stronghold. But in addition, you can use that currency from a vendor to purchase crafting schematics, an armor set, a mount, and the keys to buy your Umbara mobile base. And just a bit of additional information, if you've got the key, where do you buy it? There is now a new room in your Alliance HQ on Odessa, and you purchase the stronghold from there with credits or cartel coins. Yeah. New story, multiple ways to play, brand new rewards, lot to offer the newest Flashpoint in the game, and jump aboard in game update 5.4 on August 23rd, not 22nd as it says here, because I did delay it as noted already. So, pretty much exactly as they have been talking about.
Yeah, I like the 2 boss pictures. They're pretty cool.
Yes, the first is presumably one of the things mentioned in the short story, a Slybex. I looked that up, and apparently that is completely new to Umbara, unless it did appear in Rebels. There was nothing on Wikipedia I could find. A Slybex. And the other thing is some sort of, looks like a mining droid, maybe?
Yeah. It could be mining droid. Definitely giant droid of some kind.
Pretty damn big, yes. Now, given today is Monday in the US, they did release the patch notes for Game Update 5.4, where they talk through what's there, and obviously they mention the Flashpoint, Crisis on Umbara, and the new Stronghold. Reminder, the Ranked Season 9 will begin, and Season 8 will end, and you can get this stuff for Season 8 from the vendor. Now, note that does actually end and begin. Season 8 end, Season 9 begin when Game Update 5.4 drops, so that'll be on Wednesday rather than Tuesday. However, the Nightlife event will actually end on Tuesday. So even though the game update won't come out for an extra day, the Nightlife event ended on schedule. Now, the other stuff that we get here is this: you can customize Senya. So now you can space Barbie it up with Senya as a sort of going through and adding more companions each game update. Now, here's some other general stuff. The amount of damage which is shielded is now displayed in the combat log as intended. As far as I know, they haven't touched what goes into the combat log for a very, very long time. Now, if you're not aware of the combat log, that's what you enable, and it is used by third-party apps such as StarPars and other apps like that to give you combat information, such as how much DPS you're doing and all the rest. Now, previously, the apps like StarPars had to kind of infer shielded damage, but now it's actually going to be in there. Interesting that they're adding it. I can't imagine what drove that. Maybe it was just a bug that was on the list they finally found and got to. Either way, that's good. The new Manan Stronghold, which we just got recently, is a rest area. It wasn't previously, which was obviously an oversight.
Mm-hmm.
The guild interface will no longer jump to the top of the list if a member note or rank is adjusted. So for officers and guild leaders, this is fantastic. Basically, whenever you change anything, wherever you were in your list, and if you've got hundreds and hundreds of members as we do, it's a long, long list, it will jump to the top. And so now it won't. So great. Accidentally entering a space as the first character in the Deco UI will no longer stop the search from returning results because it thought there was a space on the front of the name, was searching for that. Now it looks like they're going to strip the white space off the front, which is just a good thing to do generally. So if you've ever kind of done that to yourself, that'll just work anyway. They mentioned this before, companions can now be summoned while moving.
Very nice.
I still think that's a cool change.
Yeah, they don't mention that you need to pay anything. Yeah.
And there is if you have a beefy computer with a particularly beefy graphics card, you should try this new graphics preference. It's called Enhanced Shadows. It will improve the realism of contrast and shadows. So they've been
very cool.
If you want to improve your frame rate and your computer's a bit behind, shadows is something you tweak. But if you've got the beefiest rig out there, yeah, you should definitely give this a try.
Yeah,
I really need to upgrade my computer. But anyway.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna try that on my computer. I think it will be able to handle it. So, yeah, that's gonna be fun. Usually, at the max settings that I have right now, the shadows look pretty good most of the time. There's a couple of funky exceptions where if the object that is casting the shadow is a long ways away, then the shadow will tend to look blocky, like, if that makes sense. In other words, if you're close up, it's casting a very realistic shadow, but if the thing that's casting the shadow is way far away, you get all these weird jaggy edges. In other words, it's like the resolution gets like weaker and weaker as you get further away from the source of the shadow, essentially.
Okay.
So maybe this will be helping with that. I don't know, but
improve the realism of it in that respect. Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see.
All right, let's just jump to class changes. They did announce a few more.
Mention earlier
Mm-hmm.
that I managed to increase my graphics with my new card, with my new computer.
Oh, that's great.
Oh, that's nice. And it
It
feels
makes
like
so
a whole
much
new
difference.
game, right?
Yeah.
Talking about the shadows reminded me. Completely new game.
Yeah.
It's amazing. It really is.
It really is surprising how much of a difference it makes.
All right, let's talk about class changes. A few of these have already been announced. Now, but some new ones. Firstly, for Jedi Knights and Sith Warriors, for Sentinels and Marauders, Combat and Carnage disciplines, respectively, have had a bit of a nerf. Unfortunately, they reduced a couple of the passives because they were overperforming, and so it is just the passive, so just basically your DPS output would just be reduced. That's a bit unfortunate. However, if you're running the Concentration or Fury disciplines respectively, you will have that buff because they were underperforming. So, ups and downs, so to speak. Now for Smugglers, Scoundrels and Operatives specifically, the Scrapper and Concealment disciplines, they were dealing more DPS than intended. They made a couple of changes to shrink it down a bit, in their words. Still deals decent burst damage while having your sustained damage brought in line with the DPS target. So your burst is still okay, yeah, but your sustained ain't going to be so good. So more nerfs. That was for Scrapper and Concealment disciplines. Now the Ruffian and Lethality disciplines have actually been buffed. Yep. Is that right, or are they? Or was that a nerf?
I don't know. It looks like a nerf to me.
The Ruffian and Lethality disciplines have also been nerfed somewhat, as they were overperforming. We talked about that previously. However, for the healers among you, specifically Operative and Scoundrel healers, no nerfs at all. Actually, in fact, no buffs, but no nerfs. They looked at the changes they'd planned, supporting data and player feedback, and they decided they are not going to be making any changes at all to healing in 5.4. Right now, they are overperforming in heals per second, and they do feel this will need to be nerfed at some point, but due to the heals per second being high, the discipline's lack of burst healing can make it quite challenging to keep players, especially tanks, alive, so you get to be overpowered because you can't burst heal. Okay, that makes sense. They're going to look at it in 5.5. So, at least for now, Medicine and Sawbones disciplines have escaped the nerf bat. But it sounds like they are going to take another swing at you in the next game update. So, and the fact Keith plays a operative healer is completely unrelated to any of this. Just saying. It's just coincidence, alright? Alright, that's class changes, no more, at least, oh, sorry. And finally, we also had a couple of other changes made to Vanguards. And only Vanguards. Interesting. Anyway, alright, Flashpoints, Operations, Uprisings, Flashpoints, a gear drop from some Flashpoint bosses will now be appropriate to the level of the character, which looted it as intended rather than whatever level it was set to. In Operations, in Dread Palace, the ads that spawn during Bestia, and there are a lot of ads that spawn during Bestia, apparently used to award XP. That sounds like a little bit of an exploit. Anyway, they are no longer going to do so as of Game Update 5.4. And finally, the Uprising Trial and Error, the door leading to Alira Semhes, will now open as intended. So yet another bug fix.
Right. Yeah, a lot of people were using the Bestia encounter because it's like the first boss, so they were using that as a way to quick level alts and stuff like that.
Right. Anyway, no more of that. Now, a few other things in item and economy. The ambient machine stronghold deco will now play sound effects when interacted with. So if you got one of those, give it a try.
Yeah, there's a bunch of them too.
Right. A few stronghold decos have had their Valor requirement removed, so if you thought you needed Valor to get them from PvP, you no longer do so. You can just buy them. There was a bug for free to play. If you were able to equip a color crystal that required the artifact authorization, that lets you equip purples, but then it let the weapon be unusable. Very awkward. So anyway, they fixed that. The OotiniCast super weapon prototype deco will now continue to spin once it's been placed on a hook. So, yes, that's good. The Stronghold decoration already sold has been hidden from the Stronghold interface since it is not available in-game. It is already sold. Sure.
I'm not sure
There's
what
that
that's
little bit of
referring to.
humour creeping into the
Yeah.
judgments. Now, a little change to that rather unfortunate thing that'll stop you moving colour crystals and weapon tunings via legacy weapons. Colour crystals and weapon tunings which have been account unlocked can now be moved through legacy weapons. Of course, there's no point, you can just spawn new ones, but if you just want to put one in a legacy weapon, you can now hand it around your alts without having to pull it out, which would have been prevented from doing so with that change. But yes, you can no longer use legacy smuggling as a thing to move colour crystals or weapon tunings. Those ones you purchased on the cartel market. And finally, for snipers, there were apparently a few visual effects that were prevented by using certain sniper rifles. That's been fixed too. But most of you probably never even noticed that the visual effects were there because they were prevented. Anyway, let's see. There's a fix for Nova Coast where Sith Warriors or Jedi Knights could force charge or leap in and get stuck in the landscape. So that's fine now. And finally, unassembled component rewards from various PvP missions have been adjusted. We talked about what the changes were. So basically, dailies better, weeklies not so much. They've been reduced, dailies have been increased. And for the rank ones, they've gone up a lot for weeklies. A lot, particularly a ranked group. And the ranked group daily has no what's of that. So anyway, yes, unassembled components raining from the sky if you actually do your weekly missions. And dailies, obviously. Alright, so that's game update 5.4, Crisis on Umbara. Yeah, so very much looking forward to that because, well, it's been a while since we've had a new Flashpoint. I mean, these uprisings are cool and all, but this is a full-on Flashpoint.
Yeah.
So, alright. What's the time? Okay. Oh, I shouldn't be tired. Oh, sorry. My daughter ran me ragged this morning, it seems. Alright, moving on. Let's just talk about Mass Effect Andromeda. That's not Star Wars, you say, but it is BioWare, obviously. So, there have been rumours of this for a while, but they have confirmed that they are not going to be releasing any single-player DLC or, in fact, any in-game story content. So Mass Effect Andromeda, as of the last update, 1.10, that's it. Their multiplayer team is still doing some stuff, ongoing support, some upcoming content, some new multiplayer missions, character kits, etc. But I doubt that's going to continue for a while, so it seems that the whole Mass Effect thing is kind of coming to a bit of an end, which is a little bit disappointing. I was reading some articles about this. They talked about after Mass Effect 3, the ending thereof, and, well, obviously won't spoil it if you haven't played it yet, even though it's been a while. That was unfortunate, and there was some hope that Mass Effect Andromeda would kind of revitalize the whole franchise. But no. The facial animations, all kinds of jokes. And actually, if you read into that, the reasons for what went wrong are actually quite interesting. Again, inside baseball to some extent, but they changed their 3D modeling program from 3ds Max. Is that it? 3ds Max? 3D Max? 3ds Max? To Maya. Those are the two big players. Maya is the more complex one, but apparently they're all owned by the same people now, and they wanted people to switch to Maya. Anyway, that meant a whole lot of work was lost. And so the animation team had to start over again. They were going to procedurally generate a whole lot of planets, which means that just like No Man's Sky, if you played that, you could... The actual number of places you could go in the galaxy were not fixed. They were generated by effectively randomly, so giving you, in effect, an infinite number of places to go. Just variations on a theme kind of thing.
Right.
But that didn't work out. So they had to change. And originally they had 30 planets planned, as in 30 pre-drawn, pre-rendered, everything. And then they had to drop down to 7, which is what ended up in the game, 7 planets. And so with all that change, all kind of stuff, including the story had to change, And that meant a whole lot of stuff they should have been able to outsource in terms of animations. They couldn't because it was too late, and so their animation team was overworked, and the whole facial animation thing sort of came from that, apparently. You can find out all this on Kotaku, who've got some background on it.
Right.
Take it all with a grain of salt, but it all sounds a little too realistic to me.
And presumably they're taking these people and putting them on Anthem and stuff like that.
Well, yes, exactly. BioWare Montreal was the studio that actually did Mass Effect Andromeda, and apparently that studio is no more. It's been merged with EA Motive, which was located in the same building. So EA Motive, it's also obviously in the same place. It's run by the former Ubisoft executive Jade Raymond. Now, she was the producer for Assassin's Creed, and she's currently working on working on Star Wars Battlefront 2, and they're working with EA Dice and Criterion.
Cool.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah. So they didn't actually sack anyone, as far as anyone can tell. All the developers were moved into EA Motive, but yeah, BioWare Montreal, which made Andromeda, is gone. So BioWare Edmonton is the studio working on Anthem, and obviously BioWare Austin is Star Wars The Old Republic. Obviously they're sharing resources, and some people are probably helping with Anthem from Austin, etc. But yeah, not so good. Yeah. So I'm just reading through to see if there's anything else to mention. Now, Mass Effect Andromeda did help drive record profits. We talked about that during the EA earnings call. But yeah, lukewarm critical effects, mockery of the whole facial animation thing. It just didn't go well. So anyway, that's it. No more DLC, no single player DLC. Let's just hope Anthem is a stunning, stunning success.
Yeah, it looks like a cool game, but yeah, it's still a ways off though, right? It's
I believe next year is what they mentioned. So yeah, they've been working on it for a while. We know that much. It was their secret IP. Alright, now finally... Is it finally? Yes. Finally in the news, I also wanted to mention just something that came out recently, or announcement of it recently. Star Wars Rise to Power. It's another mobile game. And it is entering... it's in pre-alpha, and you can sign up to actually test it. I'll include a link to that in the show notes. It's a mobile strategy game set in the Star Wars universe. It's being developed by EA Mobile. And in Austin, interestingly enough. BioWare Austin, I think. Well, yeah. In the EA place there. They don't really say much about it beyond it's some sort of strategy game. Base building kind of thing. Obviously all the rage at the moment, and yes, it's another one, but people kind of like that kind of stuff, so in the Star Wars universe, why not?
Yeah, I tend to like strategy games for this sort of thing, so yeah, I'll be interested when it comes out. Don't think I'll be signing up for the alpha or anything, but yeah, I'll be interested in seeing it when it comes out.
It does seem to be massively multiplayer in some sense, at least. You can form or join alliances, engage in epic galactic warfare with other players from around the world. Outwitting adversaries in carefully orchestrated attacks. That does sound strategy, doesn't it? Building a mighty coalition through the loyalty of other players. Da-da-da. Anyway, give it a go if you're interested in mobile games. I personally don't play mobile games, but I don't play any games at all at the moment, but I do prefer my PC games. But as you say, when it comes out, it might be worth getting into. And that's the news.
All right, well, that'll bring us to the Force Feedback, where we read out your tweets and emails. And Tadra wrote, in addition to the...
Just before you start, Jill, let's just narrow that down, because... let's start with that bit.
Okay.
Yep.
And Tadra wrote, in addition to the tip of the week, I wanted to spread the word that I and my raid team have formed a new guild on the Empire faction of the Harbinger server. It's the Healer's Fault is the name of the guild. and that we are currently recruiting for experienced raiders, as well as people who've been interested in dipping their toes into veteran mode raiding and possibly even master mode raiding, but who do not have experience and thus struggle to find groups. One of our goals is an introduction to operations group that would be focused primarily on helping bring groups through veteran mode content and helping them learn the mechanics and to clear content. This is not a group that is going to be carrying people through content, but putting experienced raiders with groups that are new to raiding and are willing and able to put the time and effort into progressing. Our core officers are people who have cleared most veteran mode operations and even most, if not all, operations in master mode. We are not elitists. We are people interested in running and clearing content and having fun, and we want to help anyone who is new to the group content. We are also interested in getting more groups running within the guild other than our own core raid group. If people are interested, they can contact me in-game, and I am usually on my operative, Katya Kazanova. The A is alt code alt plus 0228, because the last A has 2 dots over it. You can send me an in-game mail or hit me up if I'm logged in. Thanks, Deirdre. Very good. And Johnny, Born to Eat Bacon, wrote, let's see, he has a little link here to...
he did a poll.
Okay, it's a poll. Okay. Players of SWTOR GSF, which ship type is your primary favorite? And 70 votes had final results of 34% gunship, 10% bomber, 27% strike fighter, and 29% scout. So pretty even for strike fighter and scout. Gunship a little over, and bomber quite a bit under. So that was interesting.
That's interesting. I know when I was playing, and I pretty much stopped roughly when the bomber came out. And strike fighter was always my favorite ship.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, the way you are meant to play Galactic Starfighter, apparently, is because you've got your hangar. You can have all of these ships of the different types, and if you get blowed up, you can then go back and come out in something else that is more tactically appropriate. That is the way it is meant to be played, rather than just sticking with a single ship. I kind of like the idea of sticking with a single ship, so it's a bit unfortunate. Anyway, we had a few people respond as well.
Yeah, exactly. So Fiber Jedi said in relation to this, bombers in Star Wars were never really designed for dogfights. Glad that's reflected in these results. And Johnny said, that's a valid point, but dogfights are only part of GSF. Bombers planning a minefield around a satellite is quite effective.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, Zen wrote, I've never flown a gunship because it doesn't seem very Star Warsy to me. Do they appear in any of the movies? And then Utio said, remember, SWTOR is 3,600 years before the movie era. Starfighters are thus the ancestors of modern TIE fighters, X-Wings, A-Wings, and so on. And Johnny wrote, while distant ancestors to the modern ships, I see a very Imperial versus Republic styling, like the Republic tendency for asymmetrical ships. Zen wrote, yes, but it's strange that a type of starfighter that was so common in SWTOR isn't seen in the current era at all. And Johnny wrote, we are less than 3,600 away from sending wooden biplanes strapped with machine guns into battle, but I haven't seen any lately.
Right. Now, in reading through this, I realised I actually misread what Zen asked, because he's specifically talking about the gunship, and that there is no equivalent in modern Star Wars. And he actually has a really good point.
Right. I think so too, actually. I kind of thought that all you guys were kind of dancing around his actual question, which is like, why isn't there...
I just missed it.
Yeah, so basically, I think the idea is that... I think it's because the gunship probably came more from, like, from BioWare wanting to have another type of ship that had some interest and some different tactics and so on to the game. And then, they just had to come up with something that was cool and then didn't necessarily correspond one-to-one with something that was already in Star Wars. So
Yeah, I agree. It's a sort of rock, paper, scissors equivalent in terms of starfighters, and they needed something that would fill that role, the sniper role, essentially.
Right.
Of course, maybe they were in modern Star Wars, but they're always back hiding behind asteroids, and you just never see them.
All right, Juice wrote in, interesting, Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic being remade in the Unreal Engine 4. And there's a whole GameSpot article about it. What was your response here, Gio?
So, it's just referring to something that we did talk about when it came out. This was back in episode 249 on 25th February last year. So yes, Epirin is the reboot of Knights of the Old Republic. They were doing it in Unreal Engine 3 at the time, but since Unreal Engine 4 is now available, they've moved up to that. It is a full conversion mod of the Knights of the Old Republic that was released back in 2003, of course. It's an overhaul and restructure of the original game with added content, new worlds, missions, HUD, heads-up display, inventory, items, and customization. So there you go. I still wonder how they get around the copyright. In fact, they do try to explain it on the site. It will be released to the public 100% for free. It is being done by a group of volunteers. And the only required cost is the purchase of the original game. The why you need that, I don't know, and how they would actually check that. Maybe they do check it, and that's the way around copyright. Maybe.
I wouldn't know. It still sounds weird if it's not being done by BioWare.
Yeah. One thing they did change was adding the first versus third person, because KOTOR's obviously. It was only third person, I thought.
It was third person, yeah.
Yeah. And deeper customization, but they have kept the pausable combat and the original flow of the story, which is cool.
Yeah, I don't know. I've never found maybe I just haven't played as wide a scope of games as other people. I haven't found too many games where I'm interested in playing it both as a third-person game and as a first-person game, because you can play SWTOR first person. You just zoom in all the way and you go right into your character and you're first person. But it is really annoying to play that way. It is really hard to figure out where you're going and stuff like that. I don't know. Interesting. All right. And were there any other questions before we do the Starlight Digest handoff?
No, I don't think so. SWTOR is...
Excuse me.
A bit down on the game at the moment. Severe lack of communication. Well, Keith really has been doing better, mate. He really has. And he has actually been responding this last week in the forums. So, yeah. It is interesting they haven't done any streams since Keith took over. I don't know what that means.
Sorry,
Keith
what was
likes
that?
writing better than being actually in front of the camera. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe, yeah. Right, it might be a sort of a timing thing too. How with a stream you have to plan it ahead of time. Usually it's going to involve several members of the team. They all have to be available, that sort of thing. You have to schedule ahead of time, where Keith does seem to like to, when he comes across something, to sort of get an answer out right away. So
yeah, and you'd have to put up with the Twitch chat, which could be fairly dire, I suspect. Yeah, I mean, he really does play the game. We talk to him. You can't fake that. He really knows his stuff. But, Anyway, I mean, the proof of the pudding remains in the eating. So we just have to see. Just keep on waiting. Maybe that new expansion will come out and get announced when? When will they announce it? New York Comic Con, maybe? That is the next community cantina, I believe.
all right, that'll bring us to the Sarlacc Digest, where we go over the issues for 1,000 years, or until we run out of time. And this time, Tia is going to be reading the short story about Umbara, Trading Scars.
And I wouldn't dare do that right now, because I'll do that later. Because I have to get fully into character. I probably have to wear a costume.
That's
or
right.
something.
You're very method, right?
Oh, definitely. Definitely. It takes minutes to get myself into character. That's such crap. But anyway, I will record it later.
Excellent. All right. And all right, then that's a show. If you'd like to play with us in the Utini Knights Guild on the Republic side of the Harbinger server, or in our Guild on the Empire side, do a /c join Utini to join the Utini channel. Then let us know you're a fan of the show. You can email questions and comments about the show to utinicast@gmail.com. Follow us on Twitter using @utinicast. You can find contact details for all of us on our website, utinicast.com, which includes how to subscribe to us using iTunes, Stitcher, and the rest. We record the show live semi-bi-weekly on Thursdays, usually at 4:30 p.m. Pacific. Go to utinicast.com/live to find out how to join in. Our theme song is Doomsday by Jean-Paul Zogby. And thank you to the chat room. And thank you, Liber Roja.
Thanks for having me.
And we'll see you next week.
Liber Roja, do you have to go right now?
Pretty much.
All right, let's just see. Before we go off air, I know we're still on camera. Let's just count down our stop. Ready to stop? 3, 2, 1, stop.
Okay.
The recording. All right, guys, thank you for watching. Chill, did you notice I used the... and Liber Roja, drop out anytime. Thank you for coming. I realise
You
were
want it as
struggling
an
with bandwidth.
OG, don't you?
Say again?
OGG?
Yeah,
Yes.
Ogvorbis
Yes.
is good.
Yes.
Yeah. Sweet. I'll see you later then.
All right, have fun.
What were you saying to you? Something about me noticing something, or?
The outro last week, I did use the clip from Tithe.
Oh,
You didn't listen?
I didn't.
Yeah.
Haven't listened to it yet. I'm going to.
It's all right. Just skip to the end and yeah. It was an actual line where he mentioned something about their. What did he say? Something about rage. There was rage. There was definitely rage, but it was an actual line. So yeah, that was a great idea. From who suggested that?
Oh, it was in last show notes. I'm sorry. It was a guildie. It was a guildie.
I'll dig it up and mention that somewhere. Anyway, that's the show for this week. Thank you guys for watching. My daughter didn't wake. Just got the monitor handy. Been keeping an eye on her.
Perfect.
We'll be back. Let's see. Now, this is being recorded in lieu of this Friday, so probably 2 Fridays after that, or
Most
Thursdays.
likely.
Yeah. Or if something happens, then we will redetermine and do it at a different time. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. May the Force be with you and or serve you well. And enjoy 5.4. See ya. Take us out, Chill.